Greetings, classmates. This week's discussion was nationality in the media and the chapter going over communicating across borders. And so for this assignment, we needed to pick a movie that depicts life in a country other than America. And so the first one that came to my mind was Anthropoid, which was released in 2016. It's a historical drama starring Jamie Dornan and Cillian Murphy, set in 1941, 1942, kind of in the middle of World War II. In Nazi-occupied Prague in the Czech Republic, and it follows these two. They're highly trained military individuals who are Czech natives, and they have been forced to go into exile as the Nazis are taking over their homeland, but they parachute back into the Czech Republic to carry out the secret mission of Operation Anthropoid, which is the assassination of one of the highest-ranking Nazi officials, Reinhard Heydrich, who was planning the final solution. They're hoping that this can change the fate of the war and Europe in general. So let's go over the components of excellent journalism in relation to this movie. So the context is it's an accurate depiction of World War II and how the Nazi regime was occupying Prague during this time. The complexity would be the struggle for pretty much everybody living under Nazi occupation to overcome their homeland being taken over. But then there's also the complexity of the secret plan for the assassination and how, with little equipment, little communication possibilities because of the Nazis monitoring communication, radio and so on, the complex nature for them to kind of plan in the shadows to carry out this assassination. The voices would be the Nazi officers. There's scenes involving them. Also a lot of scenes involving Prague and Czech civilians, and then the secret group that includes Cillian Murphy and Jamie Dornan, the Operation Anthropoid Resistance secret group. The authenticity is that it portrays the horrors of war really well. It's rated R. There's a lot of pretty brutal scenes in there, but it really shows how people were forced to live. There's accurate depictions of people, of dress and traditions and customs and how people were living during this time. And I think, going back to it being rated R, I think for it to convey such a strong message, they need to add those scenes like that so that it does get the point across. And then the proportionality is that it represents the entire issue from the Nazis coming in and occupying Prague, to these two individuals parachuting in, to the assassination attempt, and it just showed how big the scope of this event was. One thing I found really interesting is there's a lot of shots of the Prague skyline, which is really beautiful, and in the movie they did a good job of editing it so that it seems really bleak and dull because of the occupation. All the roads and bridges are shut down, so there's not a lot of travel going on. And so in my opinion, this is an example of excellent journalism because it does check all the boxes. However, in the chapter on page 168, there's the little part in the chapter about avoiding good guys versus bad guys. And I know that's hard to do in World War II movies when it's often the Nazis versus everybody else or the Axis versus the Allies. And so in today's world, when making and following the standards of excellent journalism, avoiding good guys versus bad guys. But I'm not going to knock that here in this movie just because it's a historical drama that follows this true story. So in my opinion, this is an example of excellent journalism.